coming? Okay. Jason, if you'd like to come forward and let us know what you got going.
Morning.
Morning.
So I replaced my bathtub and shower fixture in the house.
Jason, can you get closer to the mic?
I put in a new bathtub and shower fixture in my house, and I get a permit, or I got to pay a permit to the county for $25.
I don't believe for tubs or shower fixtures, no. I don't believe so.
Why did I get a bill?
For when was the
building permit to put in a new shower and bathtub?
and when was this?
In 2022.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we need to visit with Sandy Rhodey, the code administrator, is here. She deals with building permits.
Is she available?
Yep, she's right here.
Good.
So, do you want to come forward? I'm not aware of that, so, and I don't think any of us are.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, first of all, it's not a building permit, it's a notice of construction. Since I've been here in 2011, anytime a new structure is built, we required a notice of construction. So I went back to 2013. I have not found anything under Mr. Jason Reese's name. I did come across in 2022 under a Melinda, I believe, and Jason Mann. And the permit was from your home improvement company, and your home improvement company always sends me out a notice of construction whenever they do any type of work in North Dakota. They have done that since I've started. So I don't know if this is the same permit. It was under a different name.
That's the same permit. Why do I have to pay a permit to the county to put in a bathtub?
Your home improvement sends me these every time they do work in Dunn County.
Yeah.
So if they sent it to me, they probably charged you. I don't know what
The county charged me.
but they sent the permit in, your home improvement sent me the permit. You did not.
Yeah. To let you know what was going on.
Yeah, and that's,
And then you send me a bill for $25.
I did not send you a bill. Your home improvement paid the bill. They paid the bill. Here's their check.
Go to your first page.
They filled this out, they must have filled this out on behalf of Melanie and Jason Mann.
Yep, that's what it was under.
The letter I sent you is for the new home on your property.
That was a different.
So Sandy, does the county, your office, do they require a notice of construction for bathroom plumbing fixtures?
If they call me and ask me, no, they do not, but your home improvement always sends me that.
So the question here, or the situation here is that that company went ahead and did this.
Correct.
And charged Jason, apparently.
I don't know that. I can't, your home improvement paid for the permit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but there shouldn't have been a permit, should there?
Return this application and a $25 fee to Dunn County.
But your home improvement paid the bill.
Why would you send this to me, a bill to me for $25?
I did not send you a bill. They submitted this on their own. When they did the work, they sent this to me along with the check.
So in other words, or another situation would be something the bank might do.
Correct.
On behalf. This was totally out of your control.
Correct.
Okay.
I received this in the mail with the check from your home improvement company.
Okay.
But shouldn't we then return the check and say we do not charge for this?
I could have done that, I guess, yes, but they always send me. Whenever your home improvement, if they put windows in, they are the company that always sends and lets us know that they are doing some type of either new windows, a new structure. They are a company that does this. Maybe it's their policy. I cannot tell you that.
I would imagine that counties, bigger counties, and I know from being, an assessor, some require those kind of notices, and that's
Correct.
probably why they did it in this case.
Correct. Normally, a lot of counties require, anytime you do any type of remodeling, they require a building permit. We do not require a building permit. We require a notice of construction, which is $25.
Okay.
And when I sent Mr. Reese the letter, just understanding that he was not singled out, I sent out the same day I sent his letter out, I did send out to approximately 7 other people that have been building structures in the county that I have been notified. And so he was not singled out with this.
So when you're talking about structures, that's a separate.
Yep, it would be a house, an addition, a shop, any structure that's built over 120 square feet requires a notice of construction. If understanding now that more and more financial institutions will not build a house anymore without a building permit, and that they have to go through our contractor. They won't finance them anymore without a building permit. Even shops, I'm finding I'm having more and more financial institutions that are calling me and saying they have to have a notice of construction or a building permit so they can get a certificate of occupancy. They will not loan them the money without that. So that is coming more and more now.
And that's still a $25 fee?
The building permit is not. A building permit, the difference between a notice of construction and a building permit is a notice of construction is you're just notifying the county that you're doing some type of structure. You get no inspections and you do not receive a certificate of occupancy. And I always explain that to anybody that calls me because what will happen is if they don't get a building permit, you get inspection, so it's inspected so that you know that it's being built correctly along the way, and you get a notice of construction because the financial institutions will not finance houses seldom anymore without that certificate of occupancy, saying it is safe to be occupying that building.
But I think the biggest thing is that we're talking about building houses, we're just talking about putting a shower in.
Correct, and they sent me that.
I don't think that's right.
Yeah, I think then we should have just returned it and say we do not charge for this.
And I can do that in the future. They send that to me. I don't know if it's their policy. I can't tell you.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be our policy just to accept it just because they send it.
So we have to, yeah, you said 120 square feet, we have to get a notice of construction.
Correct.
So if I build a calf shelter in my place, I have to get a notice of construction?
That you aren't using as far as like a shop, you're talking more of a shop, like a shop or like even a shed, but those are a little question, but it's mostly your shops in your homes. But like calf shelters, people call me about calf shelters, I say no, because that's not, you're not occupying that like you would a shop.
But it's 120 square feet. That's a 10 by 12 building. Nobody's going to build a shop. That's a small chicken coop.
In 2014, the Board of County Commissioners, they approved the IBC building code. And in there, that's what is the requirement. We exempt any other counties you go to, even if you put up a 120 square foot chicken coop, they have to get a building permit. We exempt that.
Why is it in my letter then?
But that you have a home. I'm just telling you what the rules are. That's what I told you in your letter.
Your letter says if I I need a building permit for any structure over 120 square feet. Any structure.
A building.
Chicken coop, anything.
A building permit or notice of construction. And that's why I always tell people, please, if you have a question, to please call me. I'm not going to nitpick a chicken coop to a shop. So if you have a question, I always tell people, please call me. I'm very easy to work with, and I will get you through the process.
Okay. You sent me another bill for planning and zoning for new structure built on highway. Who told you there's a new structure being built?
Usually what happens is either I get the neighbors calling me, one of my planning and zoning members, or a person from another department will call and let me know that there's a structure being built.
Could you call me and ask me what's going on?
I sent you a letter. I thought that
No,
was,
you didn't send me a letter. You sent me a bill.
I sent you a letter along with the application.
You sent me a bill for a new structure. If you would have called, but it said it's not a new structure, it's a manufactured house,
Right.
which I went under your permit guidelines, and I do not need a permit for a manufactured house
So,
if it's a titled house. This one is a titled house.
Sandy, what was sent was I'm just asking, was a notice of construction, correct?
A letter with a notice of construction. Yes,
Okay. And that's a requirement for everybody in Dunn County.
that is correct.
And part of that, I believe, is to serve notice to the county that a structure is out there, for one thing, that needs to be assessed for taxation. Otherwise, without those notices of construction, the county or the assessor wouldn't know. And I think that's standard practice across the
That is
state.
correct.
And the $25 fee is minimal. It probably could be more. So, that's why the letter was sent. And
Yes,
and all of it boils down to equalization. I mean, it's not fair that you don't pay tax on your house, but the neighbors do. I mean, that's why it's done. It's all part of the tax equalization process.
that is correct.
Jason, what part was that? If that was the titled house, you don't need, where'd you see that? I mean, was that in
You
zoning?
guys is permit requirements.
Is that true, Sandy?
That's never been brought to my attention, no.
I think that's a separate issue from what we've got.
Yes.
This is about the notice of construction for $25, which is a requirement of of Dunn County to pay, to serve notice to the county.
And that's been before I was planning and zoning administrator.
I've got what it says in the codes here. It says manufactured construction, what they call real property. Setting permit required, no permit required for a titled non-real property. So what does that really
What
mean?
that means, building permit.
Well, no, what that means is that you don't have to get a permit. Before they had to get a permit from planning and zoning. Now we no longer require that. There used to be a single, I can't remember, it was before my time, Tracy, it was a single.
Single family, I don't
Yeah,
remember.
Right, that was a permit through the planning and zoning. This is no longer that. We no longer require that.
I know in the past, we used to have to do a conditional use permit to put a home on a 5-acre tract. And now it's just an administrative process.
Now we don't even do anything, any type of permit through planning and zoning for any type of
Right.
home. It's just a notice of construction or a building permit.
All right.
Why do you guys charge for anything? Is the county broke?
It's a $25 fee, and that was set, those fees were set years ago.
Years ago, probably 20 years ago.
There's some administrative, I don't think it's unreasonable, and we'd have to go back and change our requirements. And I don't know, maybe Commissioner Heiser, do you know?
Well, just a suggestion, I'm not going to bring up Stark County. I've been told not to do that, so I'm not gonna. But anyway, I think what needs to be done is this should go back to the planning and zoning when we have a review of the codes and discuss it.
Sure. That would be great.
Because I think it's kind of unclear, you know, because if you read it, it says, you know, titled non-real property, so no permit required. So I think there we should maybe have, when we do some code reviews, we should talk about that in the planning and zoning and bring a recommendation to the county board.
So, yeah, that's a suggestion, sure. The building permit or building notice of construction isn't necessarily a zoning issue, correct?
No.
Okay.
Jason, would you be satisfied if we took your bathtub bill and used it for your house?
I don't believe there should be a bill. It doesn't make sense to me why you guys need $25. Because I got a structure going on.
I'm not going to argue with you, but I know 10, 15 years ago, we were trying to get people to come into the county.
And I could see it.
And now we got them coming in, now we're charging them for.
Exactly.
So I think we've discussed this enough. We'll visit about it when you're having a planning and zoning review, even though this isn't necessarily a planning. We would, in order to cancel it, we would have to, I mean, we've been doing this for 10 years, so it would be something that we'd have to look at.
But I don't hear of anybody else being charged to put a bathtub in or a toilet bowl or anything.
Well, we didn't charge them.
Well, I mean,
You know, it's
still,
in a roundabout way, but it was something that they just do. And maybe that's something when that comes in, it's something Sandy can take care of administratively by returning the money. And so they, you know, that was a third party incident. So we'll take a look at that.
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys. Thanks for coming in. Okay, 10:30. Is Dean here?
yep.
Let's see. Oh, okay. And Ross is here? Yep. Okay. Dean, if you're all right, we had tabled this, I believe, at last meeting. So we need to remove it from the table. Right? Is there a motion to remove from the table the issue of Dean Berwick's section line?
I so move.
Moved by Commissioner Olson,
Second.
second by Commissioner Clayman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, well, like I said before, good morning.
Good morning.
But as far as Tormash just continually start carrying the road, they took up to 33 feet. This here is actually a flag right here up against my fence. That's how much dirt, they took the dirt. This here is a picture of the area, just like this right here. And all that's gone. And that's my 33 feet. Did you have picture numbers? Yes, I do. Okay. Let's go to the phone. Go to 2972. Do you have it, Terry?
Or is Mike?
Mike.
Okay.
While they're getting that picture, if you want me to read a couple of, this here's from, actually from Sundin, telling the Tormashes, this here was on December 5th of 2007. This is when the whole thing started, and it's never stopped. A week later, they were back on this. That letter, I don't know what happened to them. It's the ones I handed out to you last time. But in this letter, the letter follows the December 5th, 2007 meeting with the Dunn County Commissioners and serves as a reminder to you that no improvements are to be made whatsoever on any section lines by you or any of your family or agents or your representatives without first conferring with and securing the consent of the Dunn County Commission. In particular, you must remember that you do not have any lawful right to make any modification whatsoever to a section line when the property encumbered by that section line is owned by another. Specifically, you are not in any way, shape, or form to interfere with, improve, or obstruct the section line on the property owned by your neighbor, Dean Berwick, which is me. So, you know, we got this one. Then we got one that he comes up on 7/7 of 10. Like I said, this is just a continuous problem. And here Sundin writes, State's Attorney Sundin also informed the Tormashes that if they continue to maintain the road or section line, the county will issue an injunction against them. I think if any of these warnings would have if this injunction would have happened, I wouldn't be here today. But nothing happens to the Tormashes. They just, like I said, the first letter he wrote, a week later, they were back on there with their scraper and their tractor. A week later, and nothing, I called, nothing gets done. So, I mean, it's getting frustrating, but now when they take out my dirt for 33 feet, they took it all away when the pictures, well, that's not it.
What number?
Okay, that was number, okay, before, we're gonna do 5531. This is before they tore the dirt out here.
Can I interrupt for a minute?
Yeah, go ahead, Russ.
Just so I have some context here. When did the 33 feet get disturbed that you're talking about?
Somebody surveyed it. I didn't do it. Somebody surveyed, in like 2000, it'd have been 2022, late 22. And then they said, well, it's winter time. We're not going to do anything to get it fixed. Well, there's a picture here shows how they put my dirt back. They put one bucket, you'll see the picture. But this is what it looked like before. And we're looking way at the corner at that. You can see the sign there. That dirt was there. And then if you want to go to 2976. So that's clearly my side of the road. And he takes everything on my side of the road.
What year is that picture from?
This picture was like probably a couple weeks ago or a month ago at the most.
Okay.
Remember?
76.
We're looking at, we're 2976.
That picture you just had up wasn't taken a couple weeks ago.
No, that was done years ago.
Like how many years?
Could have been 3, 4, 10. You know, I mean, but the dirt was there. Nobody screwed with it. You know, except for the main road, which he has never stopped. What you've asked him to stop, he's never done that. But now this is what it looks like. Look at all the dirt that was taken out. I got another one that shows me holding a tape measure, but it's all the way to the fence line, which is 33 feet from the center of the road. He takes all this dirt out for over 60 yards. And then when you guys told him to get the dirt back, he dumps one bucket of clay. Not even the dirt that came out. My dirt, he'll be specific in another picture. In fact, we'll just go to that. That's the video, 0245. And you'll see what all has been done, and it's on my property.
Just so I think it'll be helpful. I don't mean to jump in or interrupt you, but just for a little background while we go through some of these things, it's important for the commissioners to have a little bit of detail. You talk about on your
There's the scraper tracks, the tractor tracks. He went right up against my 33 feet and took all that dirt out. What did he do that for? Especially when you're gonna give them an injunction, if they screw with the road, they have never stopped messing with this road. And I put another picture up, so you see all this? I wanna show you why I hate this road and the improvements they did. Is everybody done looking at it?
Yes, and while you're doing that, can I then share a bit of information and help them while they're looking
Sure,
at these
yeah, hey,
pictures?
whatever.
So what you're characterizing as your property is property that holds a laid-out county road. Okay?
Well, I've never seen those papers and I've asked for them. When you guys come up with them, nobody could really find this stuff, then all of a sudden magically, we got it called a laid out road. But still, the Tormachis have no right to do the road.
Let's just go back historically, so everybody here, including the new commissioners, understand factually what happened. Okay? November 24th of 2007, you made an initial complaint about Tormachis disturbing your property out there. The sheriff's office went out there at that time. They conducted an investigation. What they learned is that you had a fence that was encroaching within the section line without permission.
No, wait, that's not true. Walter.
I will give you your time.
Okay,
Give me
okay.
my time.
Go ahead, Ross.
So somebody moved that fence off the section line, okay? I then also sent that letter to Tormachis. After that happened, Tormachis received permission from a commissioner to maintain that road. A commissioner at the time, I think we were a 3-member commission, was Tim Steffen. Then later in time, when we weren't a 3-member commission anymore, we were a 5-member commission. We had a county road superintendent. His name was Mike Zimmerman. And Mike Zimmerman gave the Tormachis permission to maintain that road, okay? And so it's really important to this whole conversation that everybody understands this isn't just an unimproved section line that somebody came along with farm equipment to improve a road to haul out agricultural commodities. It was a laid out county road, and they got permission from a commissioner. They got permission from a county superintendent. I myself have been out to that road with a commissioner and a county road superintendent. And I think that road, as we sit here today, is marked as a minimum maintenance road. Am I right on that?
Yeah.
And so this isn't just a rogue guy with a tractor and a scraper messing around with somebody's dirt.
It's exactly what that is.
Well,
Because where is that, they said that part about Tim saying they could do it, that was nothing before. Now you're saying it's something, and then there's somebody else that said they could do it?
So let Ross finish here.
so historically speaking, I think this was all put to rest ultimately in 2018 when the county commissioners told you at that time it's a civil matter and they suggested to you to contact an attorney, which you did. And then I worked with Vince Fitzik and provided me with a bunch of information, some of which you might be sharing today. I'm not certain because I haven't seen it all.
It is.
And we had that conversation and nothing became of that. You did not avail yourself of your civil remedies, if you had any civil
It's like
remedies.
throwing good money after bad.
Okay, so here we are today in
You guys,
2020.
if you would have done what you said in 2007, I wouldn't be here today. That's the whole problem with this. You told them to leave the road alone. In fact, the 2 letters, do not do it. I'll file an injunction against you. It doesn't give them a right to do it. Then I'm gonna go do it. I'm gonna tear the road up today.
Mr.
Berwick,
If I could just tell you something.
let's,
I'm an attorney working in a department. I'm not the road superintendent. I'm not in the road department. I'm not a county commissioner. I don't have the authority to tell people whether they can maintain a road or not maintain a road. I write a letter, okay? I write that letter, and if Mr. Tormashi talks to a county commissioner, Mr. Tormashi talks to a road superintendent,
Where's that information?
and they give them.
Where's that information?
Can I finish, please?
Mr. Berwick.
If they give him the authority to go in and do those kinds of things, they can do that.
Take out my 33 feet of dirt? Take out my property?
Maintain the road.
What?
Maintain
That ain't maintaining the road, that's tearing out my dirt, tearing out my property.
I'm not debating that with you, I'm just telling you, that's the information that's in front of me, and to my understanding, that's what occurred.
I was told, in fact, one of your letters, I don't have that one. I don't know what happened to them. I gave one to every commissioner, and I don't know if I left them here or what. But anyway, you're telling them that they have no right whatsoever to maintain this road. If they want it maintained, the county will. The Tormashes are supposed to ask the county, and they will take care of it at their discretion. That's in the letter. I'll go back and find it somewhere.
There's a number of ways that roads can be maintained. The county can give permission to private individuals to maintain a road. If, in this instance,
I
we
never
have an
seen a letter
adjacent.
with that.
I mean,
No, there ain't nothing but hearsay about giving them permission. It's both a county commissioner that's gone, and now another county commissioner supposedly gave him permission over you.
I don't have any authority over any of that stuff.
Well, then why did you say you were going to do an injunction against them? If they continued to maintain the road, why was that written?
If they were to maintain a road without authorization, and if the commissioners asked me to pursue an injunction, we would pursue an injunction. That's how the process works. That's not what occurred.
Okay, that's the old stuff.
Okay.
What are we doing about the 33 feet of dirt they just took out? I don't care if they put it back, if the county puts it back and charges them, or a third party does. But they had no right to take this dirt out, that video you saw. No right.
Can I speak? I don't know anything about a missing 33 feet of dirt. I've never
Just
even
showed it
heard.
to you.
No, I saw a picture, but I don't know anything about 33 feet of missing dirt. I don't know when it happened. I don't know who you claim did it. I have none of that information in front of me. I don't know a thing about it.
Well, that's what I'm showing you.
Okay. So, Mr. Burrick, other than what you've presented, do you have any other information that you need to
The
let us
dirt's
know?
missing. What more information do I need?
Okay, well, I'm just asking if there's anything else. We can go round and round for an hour.
I don't want to go wrong. I'm sick
I
of this.
don't-
I'm sick of coming up here and getting nothing done.
Okay. I guess I would ask Willard Tormash is here, if he has anything he would like to say on
First
this
of all,
issue.
That fence that got put up, he gave me permission. In fact, Doug Rummel was there with me, and he said, the posts were already in the ground, and he said, it will work. The next day, Walter loses his shit, excuse my language, loses whatever, and starts on, this whole thing was done by Walter. And Walter lied about it, Willie lied about it.
Okay, let's not be.
Well, hey, that's what they did, and he.
Let's hear
Warren
from.
came down and told the truth.
Okay, we'll hear from Mr. Tormash if he has anything he wants to add or not. But you would need to use the microphone.
Have to see.
Yes, I got it. So,
Yeah, just grab the microphone so the online people can hear.
Thank you
Thank you.
for allowing me the time. I could go on forever, but Ross brought it up, and I'm glad he did. My first note on here is who owns the road? Does Dean Berwick own the road, or do I own the road, or does the county own the road? It's a laid out section line, and if I took 33 feet of dirt out of that road, it wasn't Dean's dirt, it was the county's dirt. Second point I wanted to make is that this has been going on since 2007. It started with us discovering that there was a fence down the middle of the road. And Dean claimed we approved it, but we didn't. Then
Let Mr. Tormash speak.
and then later on, he said that the county gave him permission to put the fence down the middle of the road, and the county denied it. Back then, the county commissioners were three of them, and Ray Cattermas was one of them. And he came out and looked at it. He said, there's no way the county would give permission to put a fence down the middle of a road. And I'll move on. Thank you, Ross, but I didn't realize that you had known that I got permission from the county to do that road work. But in 2007, after that letter came out, I was at a county commission meeting and I asked the county commissioners, because this is a dirt road, and I want to emphasize that this is a dirt road. And a dirt road requires an awful lot of maintenance, because if somebody drives down that road and creates ruts, the next time it rains, those ruts hold water. Pretty soon those ruts are potholes, and pretty soon you're not driving down the road, you're driving down the ditch because the road is undrivable. So why even have a road? So you have to maintain a road, and a dirt road requires an awful lot of maintenance. So in 2007, I asked those three commissioners, because Ross Sundin said, you need to have a motion by the board, a second by the board, a vote on it, and then it has to be in the minutes that you got permission to repair or maintain a road. So I asked the commissioners, do you really think that I have to do all of that every time I want to maintain the road? The commissioners then said, no, what we'll do is if you just ask Tim for permission, that will be good enough with us. So I didn't get the minutes, didn't get it in the minutes every time. But from 2007 for the next 2 or 3 years, I did call Tim every time I want to do maintenance on the road. And Tim would say, you can do maintenance on the road, but you can't do road improvements, which is a culvert and a changing a waterway or adding gravel or building an approach. He had a whole list of things I could not do. So I did maintenance. And I would call Tim 2 or 3 times a year to maintain that road. After about 5 years, or it wasn't 5 years, after about 3 years, Tim said, you don't have to call me every time you're going to maintain the road. Just go ahead and do it. Tim wasn't on the commission after a while. So then I called Tim. He wasn't a commissioner. And I said, what do you think I should do now that you're not on the commission? He said, well, they have a road superintendent, Mike Zimmerman. So I started to call Mike Zimmerman for permission. Every time I touched that road, I called and got permission. Not in writing, but I got it. So all the time that I've ever done any work on that road, I've got permission. After this letter that Ross Sundin sent out. So in 2018, I was doing work on the road per permission from Mike Zimmerman, and I got stopped by Dunn County deputy. And he told me to stop working on the road because I didn't have permission. I said I did have permission. That turned into a many months conversation back and forth in which Ross Sundin told me that I did not have permission from the board. I got it from Mike Zimmerman, and Mike Zimmerman didn't have the authority to tell me I could maintain the road. He said I had to come back to the board every time I wanted to maintain the road. I couldn't rely on Mike Zimmerman anymore, nor could I rely on David Lim either. So from 2018, October 6th, I think it was, of 2018, I never touched that road. From 2018 until about 2000 or to 20, for 2 years, that road was starting to get in pretty rough shape. I started to pester David Lim. You guys know I came to this meeting often. I mean, almost every meeting for 4, 5, 6 years. I talked to many commissioners. I talked to David Lim primarily. And I said, that road needs some work. 1 year goes by, county doesn't get there. 2 years goes by, county doesn't get there. We're into the third year already. County doesn't get there to fix the road. So I started pushing pretty hard. I talked to Commissioner Dukart right out there. And I think it was Commissioner Lundberg was there also. And we discussed if the county can't do it, and I've given the county 3 years to fix this road, what's it going to take for me to fix the road? Should I come before the board? Daryl said that I don't know what goes on with the board except when I'm here at the meetings. So per Daryl, he said the county was thinking of coming up with a permit so that I wouldn't have to come here and I wouldn't have to get permission and get it in the minutes and all that. Just if the county would issue a permit, I could use the permit and then I could maintain the road. So I applied for a permit. I applied for a permit on October 18th of 2021. And it was called a haul road permit. I sent it to David Lim. Well, I'll pass this out. You guys can read along.
Thank you. So I applied for the permit. And as I said down in the bottom where I wrote in red, at this point in time, it had been 3+ years since any maintenance of any kind had been done on the road. The road was getting pretty shabby in several areas. I was pestering David and occasionally pestering a couple of commissioners too for almost a year already to either have the county fix the road or give me permission to fix the road. That's my email that I sent to David Lim. And there's the date on it. You can see David replied to me. He said, "I'm sorry for the late response." Then on page 2, November of 2021, that's when I actually sent in the permit. This is the first time I filled out the permit, and the ground was ready froze, so I couldn't do any maintenance on the road anymore anyway. And then this particular permit never did get approved or signed. Over the next 6 months, I had many conversations with David as well as a few commissioners, and the sum of all those conversations was that I should reapply for the permit and provide a more detailed description of what maintenance the road was requiring and what I intended to do. Third page is the actual, now the third page, this is the second time I sent the permit in. The first permit never went anywhere. This is a copy of the second time I applied for the permit. There's the dates, there's my name. The next page, you can see it's signed by David Lim. And I put on the bottom, I don't know when David actually signed this permit. I never did see this permit again until he handed it to me in this room on November 2nd, 2020 meeting. That's when David handed this permit to me. On the next page is the map. This is a map I provided with the permit. When I applied the second time, they wanted more detail about what I was intending to do. So I sent this in. This is a copy of the map that was attached to the permit. Before the county would approve the permit, they wanted to know what my intentions were to fix the road. This was the best way I could think of to indicate along that 1.5 miles of road where I thought the road needed the amount of work and what I intended to do at each of those locations. So right there is a map. That's 1.5 miles of road,
And I listed on there what I intended to do to fix the road, to maintain it.
Mr. Tormashi, could you identify for the commissioners which quarter would be the Berwick quarter?
Dean's quarter is the lower left quarter that's darker green in color.
You own the other ones?
On the north of the road, that's owned by Warren, my brother. East of Dean, that quarter is owned by Warren, my brother. So Warren owns the land on the north of Dean's quarter and on the east of Dean's quarter. It's my brother Warren's land. So I applied for a permit. I got a permit. It was signed. On that permit, I said I was going to do what I was intending to do, and I did that. The next page, you see a picture of a hammer. The reason I sent that to David Lim is because it was taking him a long time to get the permit back to me, so that was my motivator. And then on the next page, which is another email, where David Lim, at the very, you kind of have to start at the bottom. David Lim's, I sent the photo of the hammer to David Lim. David responded by saying, "Are you coming tomorrow?" Meaning coming to this meeting. And I said, yeah. And at this point, it had been over 4 years since any maintenance of any kind was done on the road. As you would expect with a dirt road, the road was in dire need of attention. And in the past 4 years, the county never seemed to have enough time to fit this road into their schedule. I had already reapplied for a permit with a map attached that outlined as best as I could guess what work I was intending to do. Then if you flip again, this is the actual copy of the permit that was handed to me by David Lim that day. And on the second page of the permit, you can see where David had it signed. And then after David handed me the signed permit, because it was already November and the weather forecast was predicting really cold temperatures coming up, I was concerned that if I started the project, I might not get it done before the hard freeze, and therefore discussed the possible scenario with David. He said that if that would happen, he would extend the permit into the next spring. So then I asked if it would be okay for me to add the note to the bottom of this, and then David initialized it. So that's the permit that was handed to me in 2022 on November 2nd. And then there's another copy of the map that went along with the permit. And then the second to the last page is what I did. I mean, I didn't know exactly what I was going to have to do, but down here, I said I started the road maintenance project the afternoon that David handed me the permit. I was forced to quit on November 7th. The ground was already too frozen. I did not finish the whole project, but I was able to address all the really bad spots. I informed David that I was done and he could close the permit. I told him that he could check it out to make sure I followed the county's wishes, and if there was anything that I messed up, he should let me know and I would fix it. And then the very last page of that packet I gave you is a typical gravel road section, cross-section of what a profile of road should look like. David did not give me this picture, I just found it. But David told me many times, and commissioners, that this is what the county wants on their road. He said, when the county, that's a county road, we want the county road to look like this. There should be a driving surface with a crown on it. There should be a place for the water to run off the side of the road. There should be what you could call a ditch. There should be an inslope, outslope. And this is what I was told, that when I repair the road or maintain the road, that I had, or I should strive to follow this road profile, which I did. So I had permission in 2022 to do what I did. Now, I don't know when Dean says I took out that dirt, but I did prepare for this. Am I taking too much time?
No, go ahead.
Actually, this might not be the one I want. It's another packet. This is when I was informed. Okay, so I did the work in 22. In 23, this is the email I got from David Lim. Mr. Tormash, I have had several phone calls regarding the section line. After looking at the section line, it is apparent you have removed some dirt from Berwick's side of the section line. As per the Hall Road agreement, I am requesting you to put that dirt back as soon as possible. Please reach out to me with any questions. So I called David immediately and we had a discussion. Now realize, I want you to look at that date. I got this notice from David Lim on October 30th of 2023. That's 1 week shy of when I finished doing the maintenance. So the county had nearly a whole year to go out there and inspect that road to see if I had done anything that was not right. And in that year, I assume that David did, because he did mention to me a few times that the road looked good to him. So all of a sudden, nearly a year later, I'm told that I should go put some dirt back. And then he attached this photo. Thank God. I don't know who took the photo, but I know the date of it was October of 23. I think maybe Dean took that picture. But then there's the correspondence. So when David sent that email to me, it was already October. I said, I probably can't get to that this year anymore. I'm going to have to do it next year, which was 24. And finally in 24, I did get to it. And there, the second page is an email that I sent to Mike Burrish, telling him that I hauled 3 loads of dirt into there. And the next page is a text message, a copy of a text message that I sent to David Lim, where I told him I hauled 3 scraper loads of dirt into Dean Berwick's ditch. I still need to do a better job of spreading the dirt with my payloader. I'll do that in the next few days. And then I sent a couple of photos. You can see those photos where I hauled 3 loads of topsoil into the ditch. And then the next couple of pages later is another copy of an email to Mike Burrish, where I told him that I got out there with the payloader and I was able to smoothen it out, make it look a little better. And then if you go a few more pages, there's a picture there. Well, let me back up. Well, I guess it's on that thing. On October, after I put that initial 3 loads of dirt into the ditch, David Lim called me and said, he doesn't think that's enough dirt. I should try to put more dirt in there. So he suggested I try a couple more loads. I told him if I add more dirt, I might start to block the drainage of the ditch. And the profile of the road will no longer be a recognizable ditch on the south side of the road. He said the county will not want the ditch drainage to be blocked. He told me to add some dirt and try to push the dirt up against the outslope of the ditch. He said I should try it and send some photos. And just as we were ready to end the call, he blurted out, but don't put too much dirt in the ditch. The county still wants the ditch. So I hauled that 1 more load of dirt in there. I was intending to haul a couple more in, but I hauled 1 more in, and I quit because I could tell it was creating a ditch block. And as you can see on the text message I sent to David Lim. I said, yesterday I dumped another scraper full of dirt in Dean's ditch, and then with the loader, I pushed the dirt up against the bank. There is a definite ditch block in the ditch, so the water can't run down the ditch anymore. And the dirt did seem to stay in place when I put it up against the bank. It looks better, but not better enough for Dean. So I guess I think I'm doing what the county asked me to do. I don't think I did anything wrong. I think I followed all the rules. And I do, and if Dean still thinks I took the dirt out of his ditch, I have pictures. He has pictures, actually, that can show that I did not take that 33 feet of dirt out of his ditch. That a lot of that dirt was gone by 2003. I'm taking a lot of time here, but I probably.
One more.
Probably belaboring this more than I have to.
This kind of look like a professional deal.
So that last pack of pictures I showed you, if you take a look at it, the very front page of it shows where the property line is. If you take that post and follow that green line, that's about the property line between Dean's land and Warren's land. It goes across the road. The road is actually a laid out road. It's not a section line anymore, so it's the county's road. The second page shows the actual dirt that I did take out of that road in 2022 via the permit. You can see how much of a cut I made. So I did take dirt out of Dean's side of the ditch in 22, that much. The rest of that dirt was taken out prior to that. I think I used up enough time. I have.
Thank you.
I have more.
So,
Well, hey, I'd like to counter this. Number one, those corner posts that are in the pictures, he okayed. He okayed it. He said that will work. Doug Rummel was right there, and he will come here and say, I'm about done with this. Because if you guys had that many meetings from the Tormashies to take and screw with this road on my side and never called me, what are you doing? Is it not important to me that you're taking stuff off of my road? And he can't count, because go back to, can you bring up picture 2978?
While we're doing that, I have one question for you,
Go ahead,
Mr. Roy. On the maps that Mr. Tormashi just shared with us, there's a designation of Pete Lee's land or Lee's land.
Yeah, that's it.
Is that your father-in-law?
Yeah, it was.
And when did you acquire this land?
I got it. I got that off my truck. It's like going to 2006. And the road was just about impassable. Just like the road, and I got a picture of the section line to the west of me, which is just a two-track trail. The section line east of Tormashi's land is fenced off. Can't even drive down it. So, okay, if you look, there's those 7 loads of scraper dirt, and that's clay. That is not, look at the difference of dirt. You can see my top, he said topsoil, he don't know what topsoil is. That's clay. That's not my topsoil. Send your road superintendent or somebody out there to look at it, but that is not my dirt. None of it is. And that's 7 scraper loads? That's a joke. It's just terrible. If this has been going on and you guys know about all this and never once called me and said, hey, he's gonna take out a bunch of dirt on your northeast corner or whatever, I don't know how you guys are running this place, but that's terrible. And he has no right, my fence post is gonna fall over. So the road superintendent that gave him permission, maybe you need to fire him or do something, but I'm sick of coming here and then hearing this kind of stuff, what I heard, and lying again, you know.
All right,
Dean, have you got a picture of the whole road so we can see the road pitch on both sides?
Yeah, I gave them to you last time.
Yeah.
It's amazing what it looks like.
okay. I do know, commissioners, that back in 2018, and I think Sally had sent
First
you,
of all, when he said that road is,
excuse me,
wasn't like that, but here. Here's what he's done with it. It's just, you know, and then I want to bring up one other picture when you got time. And that
Okay.
picture is, and this is the reason I hate the road. 4349. What do you see? Nothing but dust. That's all you see there is dust. The hay's even dust. I'm the only one with a road like that, a section line. And then he tore out my trees and all that stuff is fine with you guys? Your road superintendent okayed that to tear out all my trees? Why is he on my side?
okay, I think we've probably heard enough. I was starting to mention that back in 2018, the commission had heard, I think you may have been in here. At that time, we were advised by our legal counsel, Attorney Sundin, that the county doesn't have the authority for private parties and suggested Mr. Berwick contact an attorney, that this was a civil matter. And that's where it was left 6 years ago. Mr. Ross, is there any more that you'd like to?
There's nothing more that I have to share with the commission other than, I think, you know, I can appreciate the fact that, you know, Dean is aggrieved about this. It's an agitator for you. I get it. But the reality is, on each turn, there has been a permitted maintenance on that road. You don't like it? I think everybody here can appreciate your point of view, but the reality is, it's not a county matter. There's nothing that we can do for you to remedy that.
The county gave permission to take out this road where my fence is gonna fall over. I want the county to put the dirt back. Somebody put my damn dirt back. I'm sick of this place, and I tell you what, all this talk, and you are, and I can prove it.
Okay. So we'll move on with our agenda. Does anybody have anything they'd like to add at this time?
I guess I'd like to table this till another meeting. I think we need to do something about this. That's my feeling.
Yes, go ahead.
I think I agree with Commissioner Kleeman that something has to be done so that this doesn't continue to happen. In 21, I think it was the year 21, Commissioner Dukart and Commissioner Lundberg and I walked up to them out there right by, after the meeting was over. I said, I'm not comfortable with the way this situation is just hanging in limbo. And I think the one thing that could be done is, because it's a dirt road, it needs so much maintenance. And every time I touch it, I get accused of doing things that I didn't do. So I told him that I thought what would really be good would be to, if the county could put gravel or scoria or something on it so that the driving surface would last at least a year. Then the county could come once a year and just do a quick blade job. And he thought that was a good idea. Then in May, that was in 21. And then May, just 7 months ago, in this room, David Lim was there and Commissioner Pelton was right there. I walked up between the two of them and I said, this Dean Berwick issue is just going to keep flaring up. And I told him the same thing. I really don't think the county has to go build a whole complete road through there. That's $3, $4, $5 million that could be spent somewhere else. But if the county could at least put some gravel or scoria on it, then it wouldn't get that dust, and I wouldn't have to maintain it up so often, and it would last. And both of them seemed to agree that that would be a good idea, and they thought that they would seriously take a look at that over this past 24 year, but nothing happened. So if it could have some gravel or scoria or something put on it. And David Lim even said to me when I was standing right there on May 15th, he said, yeah, the road is in pretty good shape. We wouldn't have to do much preliminary work to it to put a topping on it. That is what I think would go a long ways.
I'm thinking
Thank
Mr.
you.
Berwick is just asking to get that put back. I mean, how much would it take? Put that back slope it. I mean, yeah, I see your profile here. Put it back and put some tops on and seat it. Because this thing's been going on for a lot of years. We're going to table it again. It's just going to keep stewing and stewing and stewing.
I added 3 scraper loads of dirt back in there. There was topsoil, and it had washed out. That ditch washed out, so I filled in the washout. David said put more in. I put 1 more load in, and I stopped. I had intentions to put more in, but it was because of the ditch was getting full, and I don't know if the county wants me to block the ditch or not. If the county wants me to block the ditch, I'll haul dirt in there until you guys say stop, and then I will put topsoil on it. That was the last thing I did. I sent that text message to David Lim. I haven't heard anything since until now. So if the county commissioners are saying, go haul some more dirt back in there, I will.
Just a suggestion, because like
And then-
this thing's been stewing for, we need to put this thing to bed.
What do you want to ditch?
I don't really,
You want-
I drove out and looked at it. I don't know blocking the ditch so much as, I think if a guy would, because it's cut almost like a 1-to-1 up to the fence. If you would fill up half the ditch and taper it up to the fence line,
I can do that.
I think that would, and so you can get grass to grow. The way it is now, grass will never grow and it'll just continue to erode.
I will gladly do that if that's what you want me to do.
So I guess one thing, it is a laid out road, correct? Yeah, it's not just a section line anymore. or was it?
That is correct. And if we're brainstorming just a moment, I would offer this as a thought. There's obviously a lot of personality conflict between the landowners out here, and I don't think it would be wise to send Mr. Tormashy back out there to make specific repairs. I think it would be better that the commission consider directing the county forces to go out there and shape that laid out road the way they want it shaped out, to restore that road the way they want it restored. And if the commission decides to put some road surface on there, they can do that at that time, but all under the dutiful work of the county forces rather than Mr. Tormashy himself. That should alleviate a lot of headache and hopefully eliminate any problems going forward.
I
So-
think that's a great idea.
Commissioner Kleeman did you make a motion or you just
Well,
suggestion?
I-
So we can discuss how we want to move forward with this road.
I guess I'd like to have our engineers go out there, and if this is such an important road, maybe we need to put it on our building permit and make a 66-foot road ditch on both sides.
Well,
I
we
can
have,
answer that for you too.
What's that?
I think I can answer that for you. It must not be that important to the county because the reason that road was supposedly discontinued in part is 1 mile north of there. They took a turn and headed to the east with a main, I think it might be a farm to market road actually. And so at some point in time, this body, whoever was sitting here, decided to reroute that road. But they never vacated that road and they continued to use it as a laid out road. And I think it was even used by a lot of local people for a lot of time until that area became less populated.
So are you willing to table this and we can discuss?
Yes,
how we
I'd like
move
to,
forward?
like to table it.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'd like to, I would like to see that laid out road. I'd like to see the paperwork. I've asked for it numerous times and never seen it. Kind of like just fictitiously pick this also on the computer stuff. This could go on.
So I guess my thoughts are as far as tabling it, it's not to hear these arguments again or go back and forth. It's to what is the county willing to do to settle this? Are we, let's bring in an engineer, the road department, and is it something, put some scoria down in a few places? I don't think anybody's talking about rebuilding the whole road, but just I think that meeting, we've used up enough time here today, but to table it and discuss it at the next meeting, kind of how we want to go forward.
I guess what I wanted to say, Tracy, is table it till after we're getting behind right now, where the people are sitting here.
Exactly.
Table it till after we're done with everybody. Give everybody a chance to think about it.
I would suggest tabling it till the next meeting. We've taken up enough time here, so.
However,
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Olson. Okay. All in favor of the motion to table, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay. There's no one else waiting other than. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the letter we received from Scott Bice's attorney. And because it involves some legal issues and deadlines, we'll recess our regular meeting and go into executive session with our legal counsel. So I'd ask everyone to step out of the meeting until we have a discussion with Assistant State's Attorney Sundin. Thank you. We will inform you when we're ready to reconvene. call on, or deal with the beer and liquor license for Cowboy Station. Is there anything you wanted to say, or?
No, I just thought if anybody had any questions or anything.
Okay.
I know it's just a renewal, and we're not open yet, so
Okay.
if there's anything you have for me.
Go ahead, Sally.
So we just have one annual beer and liquor license for Clay Bombeck. I'm sorry, for Cowboy Station. Sorry. So this will just take it through the year 2025, and they will begin to operate this spring in 2025. So we're just asking for approval for the year of 2025 beer and liquor license for the Cowboy Station.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Kleeman, seconded by Commissioner Pelton to approve the Cowboy Station beer and liquor license for 2025. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
You bet. Okay. Carrie, you're overdue.
That's okay. Well, Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
do.
here.
Yeah.
So I'm here to follow up on the JDA board appointments. On December 18th, let me take you back to November, if I will, at the JDA board meeting in November. Those individuals who wish to be renewed acknowledged that they wanted to be renewed. You folks took care of that last year.
We ask for help from the public. Anyone with information related to this incident, we encourage you to please call 1-800-CALL-FBI, or you can submit a tip online at
Okay.
So those people who wanted to be renewed, you appointed them at the last meeting. At that point in time, there were 2 unexpired terms and applications for people to fill those positions. The application of the terms that needed to be appointed, one was for Teresa Van Dusen. She moved to Missouri, and she left a 1-year unexpired term, and then David Twist, who was leaving to give more time, if you will, to his other board that he serves on that meets at exactly the same time. So that is a 2-year unexpired term as well. We did receive in time by your meeting date 2 applications for those positions. One was from Teresa Prescher, and the auditor does have copies if you want to see them. That one came in first. I would recommend that 2-year term be provided to Teresa because her application came in first. It was received on the 26th of November. And the other one was from Joanne Marsh. Her application came in on 12/3 and give her the 1-year unexpired term. Those are the 2 applications we received prior to the deadline of your meeting. And the instruction from the JDA board was to notify the county communications agent, Loanne, to post for those positions. We did post for those positions. And we had the advertisement, if you will, up for about 3.5 weeks. And those, as I said, were the only 2 that came in. So at this point in time, those are the 2 that the board said to bring to you for appointment. I will tell you that after your meeting, we did receive 1 other application from Jeff Simmons, and my recommendation would be that we take this to the full board and include him in a regular term. Instead of giving him an unexpired term, ask the JDA board if they would be willing to accept him on as a full-time board member with a 3-year term, and then bring that application back to you, because we are currently at 15 with the other 2 that I'm asking you to appoint and fill today. That would give us 16 people. We're allowed to have up to 20.
So right now, Carrie, is there a school representative on the board? Just a question.
Yeah, at this point in time, that position is being provided by an elected official, and that would be Kelly Schulmeyer.
Okay. That's, I guess, neither here nor there. I was just curious.
And she's also fulfilling the position that is available on the JDA board for the airport authority, because none of their board members wanted to actually attend yet another meeting.
Yeah. Okay. So I'd entertain a motion to approve the appointments as presented by Carrie to the JDA board.
I'll move it.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Olson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Heiser. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
And to be clear, once I have a conversation with the full JDA board at our February meeting, in all likelihood, I will be back with this other application.
Okay, thank you.
So thank you.
Yep. Okay. So we closed the executive session, and now we've reopened into the open meeting. The commission discussed the demand made by Scott Bice against Dunn County and the indemnity offer made by Continental Resources in the event Dunn County is concerned about potential liability associated with Continental's unauthorized use of Mr. Bice's dirt. I guess I would entertain a motion that Dunn County move to accept Continental Resources' offer to indemnify, defend, and hold Dunn County harmless from and against any and all claims, demands, liabilities, or causes of action related to or arising out of Continental's unauthorized use of Mr. Bice's dirt for improvements made to Main Street. I would make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion seconded by Commissioner Olson. Any further discussion? If not, roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser?
Yes.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman?
Yes.
Commissioner Dalzo?
Yes. Okay, now discussion. We received a demand made by Scott Bice's attorney regarding accepting the offer. We discussed that. So now it would be up to this board on how to deal with the offer letter that we received from Mr. Bice's attorney. We have basically three choices. We can accept it, decline the offer, or table the offer. So I would look for a motion to act on the letter received from Mr. Bice's attorney.
I move that we table the offer and have an answer before the January 14th deadline on the letter.
I'll second that.
Okay. There's been a motion to table a decision on the demand letter received from Mr. Bice's attorney. Tabled until the next meeting or a special meeting. I mean,
I think we got to do it before the January 14th deadline.
okay. So the motion is to table this decision on this letter before the January 14th deadline as specified in Mr. Bice's attorney's letter to us. And it's been seconded by Commissioner Kleeman. Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Any more discussion? If not, roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser?
Yes.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
No.
Commissioner Kleeman?
No.
Commissioner Dalzo?
No. So motion to table has been denied. So what are your wishes?
I move that we accept the letter and get this thing settled up behind us.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded to accept accept the offer made in the letter? Is that what you're saying, Craig?
Yes.
Any more discussion? Ross, go ahead.
Just a point of clarification, I believe that there's a demand that's been made in the alternative, and I'm wondering if Commissioner Pelton would be more specific or how the board would like to deal with that. One offer is for a cash sum of money, the other is for materials and services. 2 miles fence.
And they're both the same?
The monetary values would likely be different, but I don't know that one could be more costly than the other depending upon.
I'd go with the 2 miles of fence if that's in the.
Not enough.
Yeah. So we have a motion on the table to accept the letter, but not specific as to what Mr. Weiss is asking. Any further discussion? I guess I would add that I feel that the cost of 2 miles of fence at the place of his choosing or location of his choosing is kind of wide open. I don't believe we want to go down that road with other landowners in the future. I don't think that's appropriate. And my other thought is appropriating $50,000 for 400 yards of dirt and or that Continental is saying is their responsibility, totally indemnifying us. And based on our first motion that we accepted Continental's offer to indemnify Dunn County. I think the motion is not good for the county. I think 50,000 would be almost misappropriation of funds based on what's involved here. So.
Kelly, could you read back his motion to get that clarified? Is it one or the other, or how? I mean, there was like 3 things: fence, 50,000, and attorney fees. So
yeah, and what are those? Yeah. You asked for Craig's motion.
What was his motion that he actually made?
For the fence. Might have something to say.
Oh, for the fence? Okay.
Can I interject?
Okay, go ahead.
I think everybody can hear me regardless, but the one side of it's 50,000 and associated attorney fees. I've got a little over 3,000, a little more in my attorney at this time. And the other is the 2 miles of fence, which I would agree with Commissioner Gauss on the fact that I might make you build a mile of fence in rough country and a mile of fence in open country, and it probably will surpass the 50,000. But also that your thought that it seems to be excessive. I think there's case law quoted in what was submitted to the county where the actual cost of what happened to me is rather irrelevant at the point. You're basically trying to undo something that was done to somebody in the community by permission of a county employee, and listening to Mr. Berwick's and Mr. Tormash's deal. Obviously, your road superintendents have the levity of giving people permission to do stuff. And in their case, the dirt was sourced out of or within the right way of the county road. The stuff that ended up behind was sourced so far from any county road right away. It isn't even in the conversation of being able to say, you can take it out of my ditch and put it on the road. It was sourced off of an oil site completely offline of the road.
Ross, is there anything you would care to let me know?
No, just you guys, there's a motion on the table, I just need you to vote on it.
Okay. So Commissioner Pelton's motion was to, was to accept the offer letter we received from Mr. Weiss's attorney and go with the 2 miles of fence that he's asking for at the location of his choice. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Any more discussion?
What about the attorney fees?
And
Well, this is an alternative, so.
The attorney fees, if it isn't cash offer, the attorney fees are absorbed by me.
Okay.
okay. Any other discussion? If not, roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser?
Yes.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman?
Yes.
Commissioner Dalzell?
No. The motion carries. Okay, the last, getting to the last, we've got the extension stipend amounts, auditor salary.
Okay, so I remember in December, we had talked about continuing the stipends for the commission agents, and what this is for you guys that just to kind of bring you up to speed. The extension agents make a fair amount lower than what they would make if they were a Dunn County employee. So past commission had decided to take what they would make if they were a Dunn County employee, subtract their extension agent amount, and take 75% of that and give it to them in a monthly stipend. That way, for the area that we're in, they would be on the same level as if they were a county employee, just to be fair to them. Mm-hmm. So they weren't on a lower thing. So I went back and I added the COLA. I had to add the COLA to, so we add the COLA to what they would make if they were a Dunn County employee. And that's kind of how we get the amount that we pay them monthly. So for one of them, it would be, $131 per month, and the other one would be $150 per month. So $1,580 per year on one and $1,808 on a year on the other. So I would just need you guys to approve the 2025 amount so that we can get them paid their monthly stipend.
Also move.
Motion by Commissioner Pelton to approve the stipends as presented. Second by Commissioner Kleeman. Any other discussion? Any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Possible property for public safety building. Commissioner Olson and Pelton on the building committee. Do you have anything to share with us?
We've just been offered some land. We were just wondering if you want us to proceed with the negotiations. The land is over south of the current county shop, west side of the highway.
Mr. Pelton, do you have any idea what he wants per acre?
Well, that's where negotiations would have to come in.
What was the question? Did you?
How much it was going to cost per acre?
I guess it doesn't hurt to look into it a little further, but and it would seem, and you've probably got the answer to this as far as like Southwest Water and what we would need to do there. I mean,
they're looking in the southwest, and we'll probably end up drilling a well. The shop is looking at drilling one anyhow, so.
What do you?
Yeah, I just think it'd be a good location for it. It's tied in with the rest of our buildings down there. It's not in the middle of town. And I mean, the price of the property might be a little high, but we're looking at site work to tear down the building next door is over $600,000. You can acquire the new property for less than that by quite a bit. So I think it's something we should look into anyway.
Okay.
And I mean, and they're talking maybe they could tie off to the Southwest water line that goes right to the shop right now too.
Yeah, I guess I feel there's no harm in kind of going forward. I don't know that there'd be a motion or anything now because we don't have enough information to, as far as a dollar amount, or I think it's worth looking into myself.
Okay.
Isn't Southwest Water on that side of the highway?
Yep, runs right through the property.
The only question is whether they'll let you tap into it or not, because they got limited access points.
You've dug lines before and just hit it and then just tap into it.
Yeah.
Does that happen?
Not that I'd admit to.
Okay. Do we need a motion or just let the committee get some more information together to come back as far as?
I think the committee can just get some more
Yeah.
information and.
So we have something more
Yeah.
to base it on. Sounds good. Okay, vouchers, well, Sally has the financial information here for now.
All righty, so we are not completely done as it's just the 2nd of January with our December numbers, but so far for the gross production tax or GPT dollars, we are over almost 19 million for our projected revenue. So we projected 30 million in the general fund and we've received $47,954,637. And then in the township one, which is what we use for the road salaries, we projected 2 million and we got $3,193,642. So that is really good for us this year. Almost, like I said, 19 million over, and that's just in the GPT dollars. We ended up moving some money around because the interest rates are going back down. So we transferred money out of the Rivera account and put it in our DDM account, which that is an account where they invest money for us, but it's all ran through the bank and we don't have to have any extra CDs or things like that.
It's not tied up, is that
Right. Yep. So you can get that money out as anytime as you want, but it will actually earn us more interest. So we have roughly 48 million in there and we have 54 million in CDs. So we will end 2025 with roughly $126,346. And like I said, those are not all done. Those I'll have to bring back at the first meeting in February to give you guys the final for 2025 because it's going to take us that long because we're working in 2 different systems because we switched in the middle of the year. So I just want to make sure that we capture everything. So asking for just a little bit more time on that one. But
Thank you. Yep. Okay, the vouchers. They were sent out the other day, and there's a few highlighted items that were added since the. Oh, okay. I don't know about that payment to Al Heiser.
Kind of shady.
Or yellow, it's right here.
I think I'd like to thank Sally and the girls for getting these out. It's kind of nice to get them a couple, 3 days ahead of time so we can really look at them. So appreciate that.
So I have a question, Sally. I don't know if you'd know the answer. G-Works, the annual fee for 2025, $13,403. So I know we're switching over at least part of our GIS stuff to Sidwell.
Sidwell, yep. So that isn't really the annual.
Okay.
That is actually a prorated amount.
Okay.
So we will actually stop using them in at the end of May.
Okay.
So we gave ourselves a 1 month leeway that we'll have both of them, just in case something should go wrong. We still have that GIS up and running.
I have a question for Terry. This Pomps Tire, is that Kilder company, or were they from? I never heard of them. Pomps Tire?
They're out of Bismarck.
Bismarck?
Madam Chairman, I make a motion to approve the vouchers.
Then a motion to approve the vouchers by Commissioner Kleeman. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Olson. Any more discussion on the bills? If not, roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser?
Yes.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman?
Yep.
Commissioner Dolzall?
Yes, motion carries.
We do that housing.
Mhm.
I'd like to leave that till the next meeting, so we have time to talk to these people,
Which one?
the housing authority.
Oh, that's right. So we don't,
We can act on that
we
next
can
time if
just
we can.
postpone action on the housing authority appointments till next meeting. Yeah, I didn't know of any names offhand. So that'll be postponed to our next regular meeting. Okay, reached the end of our agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Kleeman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Olson. Did you have something quick?
Yeah, the only thing I was gonna ask is, being this Continental's agreed to indemnify the county, does that mean I should meet with the road portfolio holders and the road superintendent so we can use the county-approved vendor for this fence? Because means it's gonna be a pass-through to Dunn County, because I don't want to deal with Continental directly, because they agreed to indemnify the county and not me. I think it should run through the county, basically, as the indemnification is going.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
we're
the
settling
fence
it, so I
is-
think it should be.
Fence would be through the county, correct?
But it doesn't matter, I'm trying to set up a meeting with the road portfolio holders and the road superintendent, come up with some type of bid or whatever the bid, I got no idea.
Okay,
I just want to carry forward with it, that's my only question. Thank you.
so there's a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 12:36. Thanks, everyone.